Hi guys, Chef Kevin Belton here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, let's go sweet today because today is actually National Praline Day. So we're gonna make some pralines, but then we're gonna turn it into praline ice cream. That's right. So to get started, we're gonna start with our pralines first. Now, in the pot, I have our white sugar. I'm using light brown sugar. We have our butter. Let's get in our milk. And if you wonder why the milk has a little color to it, that's vanilla. I put the vanilla right in the milk. Now, with this mixture, this has to come to a boil. We're gonna cook our pralines to a soft boil temperature, which is 240 degrees, okay? Now, originally, I don't know if you all realize this, pralines was originally done with almonds. But, of course, we didn't have any almonds growing in South Louisiana, so instead we used pecans. So we're going to use pecans, and basically I had pecan halves, put them in a bag, broke them up, because I like them in pieces. Now, like I said, we're going to cook this to a soft ball stage, 240 degrees. Instead of using a candy thermometer, this is just a little cold tap water. And I'll use this to show you how you know when they're cooked to the right temperature. But in the meantime, we need to get this to a boil. We'll get our nuts in and get our pralines to cooking. Now that it's boiling, let's go ahead and get in our pecans. And it's important when you're cooking pralines to make sure you stir the pot nice and gentle. And when it starts boiling, the bubbles just kind of dance on the top. And as it cooks, you'll notice the bubbles, instead of dancing on the top, they start to bloop, bloop, bloop from the bottom. And that's when we're going to test them to see if they're ready. Look in the pot. See how it's bloop, bloop. And when you stir one side of the pot, everything's tend to move. Now, this is where you're careful. We'll take a little bit. Drop it into the glass. All right. Set this off the fire. Now, reach in and just stick this to the side of the glass. See, we want it to stick to the glass. If it adheres to the side of the glass, it cooked enough. If this would have just dropped to the bottom, that means we need to cook a little longer. But you can see it's ready. So now that they're cooked to the right temperature, this is the point where we could put in flavors: chocolate chips, a little shredded coconut, tablespoon of peanut butter, splash of rum extract if you want. Now, we're gonna pour this out on parchment paper, okay? Our pecans right now have all floating at the top. We have to stir this off the fire to allow the sugar to recrystallize. That's what makes the praline setup to get hard, is the sugar recrystallizing. The first time folks make pralines, they spoon them out a little too soon. This first one will not set up because we spooned it out before the sugar had a chance to recrystallize. So stirring it introduces air. So we're going to stir this until this cools down, till that sugar starts to recrystallize. Then we're able to spoon them out. Now, it only takes about 3 or 4 minutes for stirring to cool them down. What happens, there's a little skin that forms on the top. When you run your spoon, it gets a little cloudy and like a little skin starts to form. That means they're ready to get out. And once you have them to the right temperature, they're ready to spoon out, you have to work quick. And the important thing is, don't stir them anymore, because now they're ready to come out. Now guys, you have to work quick, and it's important that you don't keep stirring. See, they get hard in the pot. Best way to clean the pot out, a scoop of ice cream. Now, if you would be stirring them and you're spooning them out and they start to get hard on you in the pot, just a little tiny splash of milk. Just one quick stir to get that milk mixed in, then get them out of the pan. But they only take about 3 to 5 minutes to set up. So the little white spots on them, that's the sugar recrystallizing. Now I'm using parchment paper. You can of course take wax paper with newspaper underneath, but look how quick they set up. So here our pralines are ready. So now that our pralines are set up, let's get ready to turn them into some ice cream. Now we're ready to make our no-churn ice cream. So I'm starting off with heavy cream, little pinch of salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and that little brown spot, I put in a couple tablespoons of vanilla. Now we're going to use condensed milk. Get that condensed milk in. And I know what you're saying. Which one of you is going to get this can? All right, which one of you is going to get this can to be able to clean all the goodies out of here? So now, that's that. I want to whip this just for a couple of minutes, just to get everything just on low, to just get everything blended and smooth. And once you see it start to be like a ribbon, it's well enough. Now, I mentioned ribbons, okay? Basically, when we were beating it, we just wanted to see that everything had smoothed and that condensed milk had creamed together, where it's not fluffing, but you could just see it all following each other. Now, here's the fun part, taking our pralines and breaking them up into this. Now, I'm using just a loaf pan, and one of the things about the no-churn ice cream is that it takes 4 to 6 hours to freeze in the freezer. And this is where, you know, the less it freezes, the softer it'll be. If you want to let it get really, really hard, you have to let it go for at least 6 hours. But if you want it almost like a soft serve, you can start taking it out in about 3 hours. So let's just make sure we get our pralines mixed in. And if you want more, of course, you can put some in. You can break some in more. Now, I am going to pour this into our loaf pan. And what you can do, instead of pouring it all into one loaf pan, use 2 loaf pans, because that way it's not going to be as thick and it'll freeze much quicker. Then we'll put a piece of clear wrap right on the top of it and get it in the freezer. Now, this is why it's important to put the clear wrap over it. So you just want to press it down to touch it, okay? That way it doesn't get freezer burn on the top. That's why you do that. And now all we have to do is pull this off and scoop it out. Now, do you want it in a cup or do you want it in a cone? Totally up to you. Plus, you can sprinkle more pralines on top or put it on the side and serve it with them. Oh, I tell you what, I hope this hits your sweet tooth. For WWL TV, I'm Chef Kevin Belton, and thank you for cooking with me today. We'll see you soon.